Imagine this scenario for a second. Um, you've just signed a massive high-stakes contract for a home renovation.
Oh, a huge commitment.
Right. You've finalized the capital, you've approved the architectural layouts, put your signature on the dotted line.
You're excited.
Exactly. You go to bed anticipating the kickoff. You wake up the next morning, you look out the window expecting to see a fleet of heavy machinery, site supervisors, maybe a fully mobilized crew ready to break ground.
And instead,
Instead, you see absolutely nothing. Just your existing property,
yeah,
completely undisturbed.
yeah, it's a fundamentally anxious moment, really, for anyone funding major capital improvement or a residential build.
You immediately start questioning things.
You do. You question the contractor's timeline or, uh, worse, their reliability. The disconnect between that massive financial commitment and the actual physical evidence of progress is, well, it's jarring.
It really is. And that specific disconnect is exactly what we're demystifying today.
I love this topic.
It's so needed. We're pulling insights from a really detailed breakdown published on September 15th, 2025.
By a firm called Construction Core.
Right, Construction Core. They command an audience of over 1,000 industry followers. And our mission for this deep dive is to map out the reality of those completely invisible phases of construction.
The stuff you don't see?
The stuff that drives you crazy because you can't see it.
Yeah.
We're going to walk you through the actual mechanics of a Florida build.
Step by step.
From the very first architectural design all the way through to the final punch list and the certificate of occupancy.
Before we really get into the weeds of their analysis, we should probably establish the operational background of Construction Core.
Yeah, why should we listen to them, right?
Exactly. Because they aren't just an opinionated blog. They operate with 4 distinct, active Florida state licenses.
4 of them.
Yeah, 4. They hold credentials as a certified general contractor, which is CGC 1530192.
Okay.
Alongside dedicated electrical, that's EC 130133956, and plumbing, CFC 1432954.
Which is a solid lineup, but there's another one.
There is a mold remediation license, MRSR 4642.
And holding a mold remediation license alongside standard general contracting credentials, that really stands out to me.
It's rare.
Usually you see those isolated to, post-disaster recovery firms, the guys who come in after a flood.
Right, but in a state with the humidity levels and hydrodynamic challenges of Florida, holding a mold remediation license signifies a much deeper grasp of building science.
Because they're preventing the problem.
Exactly. It means they aren't just looking at structural load paths. They are actively engineering the HVAC rough-ins and vapor barriers for long-term moisture control.
Way before the drywall ever goes up.
Way before.
Yeah.
They understand the life cycle of a build through the lens of really strict code compliance and environmental mitigation. So this is all about transparency, setting realistic expectations, and understanding the standards that keep your home safe.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with step 1, the design and planning phase.
A first invisible segment.
Right, because before a single piece of heavy equipment arrives on site, the entirety of the project has to be mapped out.
Down to the millimeter.
Blueprints, material specifications, everything.
The blueprints dictate the structural reality, obviously, but the material selections dictate the logistical timeline.
That's a great way to put it.
Construction Core really emphasizes that finalizing selections, like your flooring grades, specific plumbing fixtures, custom cabinetry dimensions, that is a critical path item.
Which makes total sense from a procurement standpoint. But homeowners often assume they can just, swap out a tile choice.
Or change a vanity unit.
Yeah, a few weeks into the build without any consequence.
Oh, and the source makes it so clear that late-stage changes throw a massive wrench into supply chain logistics.
How so?
Well, say you change a plumbing fixture at the last minute.
Seems simple enough.
You'd think, but it might require a completely different rough-in valve behind the wall.
Oh, wow.
And that requires the plumber to remobilize, come back out to the site, which pushes back the drywall installation.
Because you can't close the wall.
Right, which then delays the painters. Making ironclad decisions up front is really the primary way a homeowner can actively prevent schedule drift.
So get your choices locked in.
Locked in early.
Okay, so once the ink is dry on the plans and the materials are spec'd, the project moves into step 2, the permitting phase.
The infamous permitting phase.
And this is where the momentum seemingly hits a brick wall.
What's fascinating here is how misunderstood the municipal review process actually is.
People think it's just paperwork.
Exactly. They think permitting is an administrative rubber stamp where a local clerk just collects a fee and files your folder.
But it's not.
It is a rigorous, multi-departmental engineering review.
But wait, if a seasoned general contractor has built the exact same architectural model 50 times in the same county, why does the permitting phase still take months?
It's a fair question.
Shouldn't the municipality have those structural calculations on file?
You would definitely think so, but site-specific variables change everything. The local building department is actively cross-referencing the submittals against the latest iterations of the Florida Building Code.
Which updates all the time.
Frequently. Plus, they are reviewing the specific soil conditions of your exact lot.
Oh, because soil changes from street to street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they have to ensure compliance with FEMA flood maps.
Right, the flood zones.
If FEMA recently updated the base flood elevation for your specific zip code, your architectural plans might need immediate revision.
Just to raise the foundation a few inches.
Yes. And plan examiners might kick the blueprints back to the structural engineer for minor recalculations based on that.
And that takes time.
Depending on the municipality's backlog, that back and forth alone can consume weeks or even months.
Which brings up a massive liability warning that Construction Corps explicitly outlines in their article.
The big red flag.
A big red flag, and it's the owner-builder trap.
So dangerous.
They note that unscrupulous operators will often suggest that you, the homeowner, pull your own permits.
To save money, they say.
Or to expedite the process. The source says if a contractor ever asks you to do this, you need to run. Walk away immediately.
It is genuinely one of the most dangerous legal maneuvers a property owner can make.
Explain why.
When you pull an owner-builder permit, you are legally signing a sworn statement that you are acting as the primary general contractor for the project.
You become the GC.
You instantly absorb all legal, financial, and structural liabilities.
Meaning if an uninsured roofing subcontractor falls off the truss system.
Yes.
Or if an electrical fault causes a fire during the build.
The liability is entirely on your shoulders. The municipality and the insurance companies will hold you responsible, not the guy you paid to manage the site.
Because on paper, you're the manager.
Exactly. It is a classic tactic used by unlicensed entities to completely bypass Florida's stringent workers' compensation and liability requirements.
That is terrifying.
Only a state-licensed contractor should ever be pulling the notice of commencement and the primary permits.
Okay, so assuming we've navigated the bureaucratic labyrinth. Safely, yes. The permits are finally issued. The homeowner assumes the trucks are rolling the next morning.
Of course they do.
But we move into another behind-the-scenes phase, which is step 3, pre-construction and mobilization.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this phase is pure project management.
No hammers yet.
No hammers. The contractor is mapping out the sequence of trades. They are locking in the scheduling for municipal inspections far in advance.
Why so far in advance?
Because local inspectors are notoriously overbooked. You have to get on their calendar now for work that's happening 3 weeks from now.
Wow. And this is also the critical window for ordering those long lead time materials we discussed earlier.
Exactly. Especially in Florida, you are heavily dependent on specific, highly regulated materials.
Like the hurricane windows.
Specialized hurricane impact windows with stringent notice of acceptance, or NOA, ratings. Custom-engineered roof trusses.
And those take a while to arrive.
If those fenestration products have an 8-week lead time from the manufacturing facility, the contractor has to sequence the initial structural work to align perfectly with that delivery date.
Because you can't just leave it open.
Exactly. They cannot leave a framed structure exposed to the Florida elements indefinitely while waiting on windows to show up.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because that waiting game eventually breaks.
Finally.
The mobilization phase ends, and we transition into step 4, the actual boots-on-the-ground construction.
The part everyone has been waiting for.
Yes, but even this execution is highly regimented. It kicks off with site prep and demolition.
Clearing the old to make way for the new.
Prepping the foundation and then moving into the structural work.
The structural phase is really where the strictness of the Florida Building Code is physically manifested.
You're dealing with the foundation pour.
The block work, the framing, and fundamentally, the continuous load path.
Which entails the roof tie-downs.
Yes.
The source emphasizes this, but we should clarify what that actually means structurally. It isn't just throwing some extra nails into the rafters.
Oh, not at all. A continuous load path is a complex engineering strategy. It's designed to hold the house together against catastrophic hurricane force uplift.
The wind trying to rip the roof off.
Exactly. It involves embedding Heavy-duty steel straps directly into the concrete foundation.
While it's wet.
Yes, cast in place. Then connecting those straps to the vertical masonry, or the framing, and tying those directly into the roof trusses.
So the whole house is literally strapped to the ground.
Every single connection point is calculated to transfer the wind load from the roof, down through the walls, and safely into the earth.
That's incredible. So following the structural framing, the project moves into the rough-ins.
This is the installation of the internal systems, the hidden veins of the house.
The primary electrical routing, the sub-panels, the plumbing supply lines and drains.
The HVAC ductwork and air handlers.
And all of this complex internal routing must be perfectly coordinated before a single sheet of drywall is hung to close the envelope.
It's like a three-dimensional puzzle inside your walls.
What happens if they get it wrong? Say the HVAC contractor runs a massive return duct right through the space where the electrician planned to drop the main home run cables.
Everything halts. You have trades fighting for the same cavity space, and it has to be re-engineered on the fly.
Which perfectly explains a phenomenon that Construction Corps highlights for homeowners, the concept of quiet days.
This is such an important concept for setting expectations.
Homeowners often misinterpret a lack of heavy machinery or power tools on-site as a stalled project.
They look out the window, they don't see 20 guys in hard hats, and they panic.
They assume if nobody's actively swinging a hammer, the contractor has just abandoned the job to work somewhere else.
But the source points out that quiet days are actually critical staging and coordination periods.
It's an analogy I like to use. It's like a restaurant kitchen prepping ingredients before the dinner rush.
That's a great way to think about it.
The dining room is quiet, but the kitchen is doing the most important work of the night.
Exactly. A quiet day is when you have specialized trades mapping out those complex runs to ensure that HVAC, plumbing, and electrical don't clash within the wall cavities.
No hammers, just tape measures and laser levels.
Right. It is also when municipal inspectors are physically walking the site to verify the structural and rough-in work before the walls are closed.
So progress is definitely happening.
It's happening in the form of project management and quality assurance, not just physical labor.
That quality assurance is formalized in the next major phase, which is Step 5, mandatory inspections.
You can't skip these.
Florida law dictates a gauntlet of verification steps. You don't just build the house and get it checked at the very end.
The phase check-ins are non-negotiable.
Walk us through them.
Sure, you have specialized municipal inspectors coming out for the foundation layout before concrete is even poured.
Just to check the rebar in the trenches.
Exactly. Then you have the framing inspection, which strictly evaluates those roof tie-downs and the continuous load path we discussed.
Making sure the straps are actually there.
Right. Then you have dedicated electrical, plumbing, and mechanical inspections for the rough ends.
That's a lot of visits.
It is. And in many Florida jurisdictions, you also have insulation inspections and blower door tests to verify the energy efficiency and air tightness of the building envelope.
And Construction Corps outlines the catastrophic risks of dealing with a contractor who attempts to bypass or rush these municipal checks.
It's a massive gamble.
The immediate risk is financial, right? Hefty municipal stop work orders and fines.
Yes, they will literally put a red tag on your door and halt everything. But the long-term risk is far more severe.
Because it threatens the structure itself.
The long-term risk threatens your core asset. If a major hurricane hits and your roof suffers catastrophic failure because the tie-downs were never properly installed or inspected.
Which happens all too often.
It does.
Yeah.
The forensic engineers sent by your insurance company will identify the unpermitted, uninspected work.
They can tell.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They know exactly what a permitted connection looks like.
Meaning the insurance carrier can completely deny your multi-$100,000 rebuild claim because the structural integrity was illegal from the start.
Precisely. The strict adherence to the inspection sequence is the ultimate fail-safe.
It protects the homeowner's physical safety and their financial equity.
And it all culminates in the final occupancy inspection,
which legally certifies the structure is safe for human habitation.
Once that certificate of occupancy is issued, the major construction is effectively done.
The finishes are in, the drywall, the paint, the cabinetry, the trim.
It looks like a finished house.
But we aren't completely at the finish line yet.
This raises an important question.
How do you definitively close a massive, multi-tiered logistical project like this?
Right. At what point does the contractor actually turn over the keys and finalize the contract?
Enter the final phase, step 6, the punch list and closeout.
The very last step.
The punch list is an exhaustively detailed, itemized inventory of necessary touch-ups, minor corrections, and final polishes.
We are talking about micro details that only become apparent when the project is 99% complete.
A slight variance in the caulking around a master shower enclosure.
Exactly. Or a specific cabinet door hinge that requires a micro adjustment to sit perfectly flush.
Or maybe a scuff on the baseboard trim caused by the appliance delivery team.
Those tiny things that drive you crazy if they aren't fixed.
Construction Corps advises homeowners to use this walkthrough stage to their absolute advantage.
It's your right as the client.
This is the moment to verify that the final execution aligns perfectly with the material specifications and architectural plans established all the way back in the design phase.
You document every single outstanding detail.
Write it all down.
Because the project is not officially closed out and final retainage payments are generally not released until every single item on that punch list is rectified.
So holding back that final payment is key.
It serves as the ultimate accountability mechanism.
It ensures the contractor finishes the job to the exact specifications rather than demobilizing prematurely.
Nobody gets their final check until the house is perfect.
So what does this all mean?
That's the big question.
Why does diving into the weeds of supply chain logistics, continuous load paths, and phased municipal inspections matter to you as a property owner?
Ultimately, it comes down to shifting your operational baseline.
Shifting your mindset.
Yes. When you lack an understanding of the chronological flow of a build, the initial delays of permitting, and the inevitable quiet days on site breed intense anxiety.
You feel lost in the dark.
But when you comprehend the actual timeline, from the initial blueprint engineering and material procurement to the meticulous legal closeout, you transition.
You transition from a passive, anxious observer into an informed partner.
You understand the why behind the logistical bottlenecks.
It proves that successful construction management relies entirely on transparency, complex sequence coordination, and an unyielding adherence to Florida's rigorous safety protocols.
Firms like Construction Corps prioritize this transparency because an educated client is protected from the inherent risks of the industry.
Knowing this roadmap equips you to navigate your next major capital project with analytical confidence. You aren't just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best anymore.
You know exactly what should be happening and when.
We want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
We hope unpacking the realities of the construction life cycle has provided a clearer lens through which to view the built environment around you.
We appreciate you taking the time to explore the hidden mechanics and structural realities that keep our infrastructure standing.
And before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
Let's hear it.
We have spent this time examining how the built environment requires this level of rigorous, multi-step documentation, phased engineering check-ins, and a highly detailed final punch list just to ensure a structure can withstand a Category 4 hurricane.
It takes a lot of structure to build a structure.
Exactly. So how might applying that exact same structured permit-to-punch list methodology change the way we manage the most complex, chaotic projects in our own personal or professional lives?